Alright, so as you can see from the title, I am 17 years old, and my account, as you can see, is worth $24,000. Um, so basically, just before I get into like the stocks and all that, I just want to say, cause like I only made 2,200 off this, which obviously 2,200 is a good bit of money, but obviously most of this money I made myself. The rest of the 22,000 I made myself. So basically, before I talk about all these stocks, I just want to say, so I got hired at Subway in 2019 in February, right? So as of me recording this, it's August 2020, and I started investing in about I think June of 2019. So I'd been working for 4 months, and I'm gonna go into the history of this. Um, Give you guys just like a history of my whole investing thing, how I got here. So I transferred in 4,000. So I'd gotten that 4,000 from basically, I'd got it from obviously working at Subway. I got hired, 4 months prior, but also just doing work for other people, doing work for my grandpa, working on farms, all that type of stuff, Christmas money, birthday money, just all that stuff that I'd saved. So yeah, that had me up to about $4,000. And I bought my first stocks with it, VYM. I bought that. I'll explain all the stocks to you guys in a minute. I just want to go through the history first. So then in August, I transferred in another 4,000, and I think I only made about 2,000 during this time period. But I also sold my truck, which my truck I bought for 7,000, and I got that money, like I said, from working on farms, doing all that stuff. So I bought my truck before I even started working. But I ended up selling it. I made 2,000 off of it, or I got 2,000. I bought it for 700, so I got some decent profit off the truck. And yeah, so that was money from the truck, money from obviously like work and tips and all that stuff. So then, as time went on, see, the reason I transferred in 4,000 at a time is because it was actually, there was like a $5 fee back in the day on Charles Schwab that you had to pay whenever you were buying stocks. And I think around this time they switched it. So yeah, I think around October is when they switched it. So I transferred in 3,000, and I'm pretty sure this money was all money that I made um, just working at Subway. I don't think there's anything else like major that happened. And then, as you can see, I transferred in 600, and the reason for that is there was no fee, so there was no point in like holding my money off from transferring it. So um, I basically just did that. I basically transferred in 600, and from this point on, whenever I'd get a paycheck, I would usually just transfer it in. So yeah, you can kind of see I was doing that same thing for a while. 500, 400, 700, uh, then 240. That's kind of a small paycheck. Oh, that 240 was probably from like Christmas or something, because I didn't work during winter break. And then 500 back up to like better checks, and then 375. So yeah, I was basically doing this for a while, and then you come up here, should be around here. All right, so that 1,400. So that was actually some money that I was supposed to get paid for some work I did with my grandpa, and I never got paid for it. Right? I never actually like I was never really telling him like, oh yeah, can I get paid for that? But basically, Rona hit, and then the stock markets they all tanked. So I was like, oh yeah, can I get paid for that? So I got paid the 1,400. I invested that, and now that everything's back up, it's probably worth 2,000. So that was probably my luckiest thing that I've done on the stock market is I just completely like I didn't completely forget about the money that I needed to be paid, but I didn't really say anything at the same time either. So yeah, I ended up with $1,400 when the stock market was super low. So I swooped in, bought a bunch of shares of VOO for a good price. So yeah, And then after that, I don't think anything significant happened. Whoa. It's kind of just the same thing. And then that brings us to today. I haven't actually bought any stocks because because I have a lot of cash in my account because I feel like the market is pretty high right now. If I get my next paycheck and things don't go down, I'll probably just end up buying in. But I don't know. I was kind of hoping that the market would like drop a little bit and I could get it for a cheaper price. But it is what it is. Um, that's just kind of how things go. At this point, I don't really want to worry about it anymore. I just want to put my money in so I can stop checking it. But yeah. So now that we've explained that, obviously that 22,000 is just in my account, and then the stocks are worth also, or no, the 2,200 is just cash, and then the 22,000, those are the stocks I have in my account. So that 22,000 is made up of VOO, and I've got 50 shares of that. It's worth $15,000. And it's like an S&P 500 stock. So what that basically just means is um, it's like the top 500 companies in America, and it's weighted based on like how big they are. So obviously, a bigger company like Google is going to be weighted more than a smaller company like I don't know what a small company is that's still in the top 500. Like probably Nike. Like obviously Nike's not small, but like they're not as big as Google either, if you know what I'm saying. So that's kind of how that works. And there's also VTI, and that's just like the S&P 500, except it has every single stock in the market. So like Google and Facebook are still weighted more highly on there, but it gives you exposure to smaller stocks. And I only have 1,000. I only have like 1,200 in VTI. I mostly just buy VOO to be honest. And then VYM. That's basically the same. It's very similar to VOO, but instead of just all companies, instead of just the top 500. So this one pays like it pays like a 1.7 dividend, and VYM focuses on dividend paying companies, and its yield, it pays like a 3.6 dividend. So the dividend, obviously the stock prices go up, and when they go up, you can sell them, and boom, you've made money. But most stocks also have some type of dividend, right? So a dividend is just money that they pay you. You don't have to do anything for it. I have it set up so it'll reinvest into the stock. But yeah, it's basically just free money that you get for owning the stock. So not only does it go up, but you also get that free money. So it's a pretty good deal. Now VYM, the reason I wouldn't put all my money into VYM is just because it doesn't perform as well as VOO. Because obviously, if those companies, because the money has to come from somewhere, you know what I mean? Like those companies, if they're not putting that money, if they're not giving it to you, they can reinvest it in their company, do whatever to make their stock price go up. You know what I mean? So VOO and VYM, if you factor in their performance and you factor in everything, they're like pretty similar, even though one pays a higher dividend. So I don't know. I'm probably not that good at explaining, but basically the like long story short, it's like a ton of different companies. Like all these stocks are made up of tons of different companies. So I own like just a bunch of different companies. So it's very low risk. Is the reason that I do it, and it's basically guaranteed to go up. So I don't really have to think about this when I'm buying them. Like I really don't even check this honestly. I just buy the stock and I don't look at it because I know it's gonna go up in the long run. Like no matter what this is now, in 20 years or so, like I know for a fact it's gonna be way up. Like just based on like historical, like how things have been historically, this will probably be worth around 100,000 in 20 years. So when I'm 37, a stock portfolio of a 37-year-old, even if I don't invest any more money, these should be worth about 100,000. So, yeah, that's basically how I got here. Just working at Subway, doing all that. I keep my expenses really low. I sold the truck and I don't drive. Like, I don't drive. I don't drive. I'll occasionally drive my mom's car, But I don't have a car that I pay insurance on. I don't really buy gas because I drive so infrequently. Like literally like once a month I'll drive. I basically just walk everywhere. So yeah, that saves me a lot of money doing that. And let's see, what else do I do? I don't smoke weed. I don't do any type of drugs. I honestly think that if like teenagers who had jobs, like if they weren't smoking and they weren't like driving, they'd probably all have like as much money as I do, honestly. Um, but yeah, I also in terms of like at Subway, what my hours are a week. Originally when I started, I was getting like less than 20, but I pretty soon, moved up the ranks. And during that first summer, I was probably getting like averaging 35 hours a week, and that somewhat stayed consistent. It kind of fell off in like the middle of the school year, but now I'm back to getting about 35 hours a week. Um, I'm always willing to like cover people's shifts if they're sick or whatever, or they have things going on. So I get more hours that way. So yeah, I get a fair bit of hours from Subway. That's really my only like source of income other than like my passive income from investing. This like 2200 that I've made, which is pretty cool. I'm super proud of this 2200 because if you think about it, that's like literally three of my paychecks, like 6 weeks of me working, and I got all that money with doing no work, with just investing. So that's kind of why investing is pretty cool, because you make money without working. So yeah, I guess just to wrap this up, if you want to get into this and you're young, you can't actually make an account on here until you're 18. So for most people, the best like plan would just be to get a job, start making money, um, get direct deposit to a savings account. If you can get like a checking account and have a debit card. Um, but yeah, I think basically I'm pretty sure anyone can go in and get a savings account, and obviously like maybe you have to do certain things like you have like certain responsibilities, but most people can work a part-time job and also go to school. Like high school, it's really not that hard. There's been weeks I've went into overtime while still working. Like I had basically my last class of the day. I had that off, so I would go to school at 8 and then get off at 2, and from that point I'd go straight into work. And well, not straight in, like I'd get off at 2, go in at 2:30, and I'd work till 10:30, and I wouldn't take any breaks. I eat breakfast, and then I eat lunch, and then I eat like a really big meal when I get home. So I wouldn't take any breaks usually. I would just go in, work for 8 hours straight, and do that Monday through Thursday. And like Friday would be like my fun day, and Sunday would be like my family day, and Saturday would be kind of like a chill day slash sometimes do things with friends. um so yeah, it was a really fucking brutal schedule obviously during the week, but as you can see, it kind of worked out for me because I got a lot of money in my account now. um so yeah, I mean, like uh obviously a lot of people aren't going to be able to get an investment account, but if you can, if you have like for me, um like I live with my dad most of the time, and he's into investing. He invests, so I'm able to like basically be part of his account, and I have my own like section where I can do all my investing. So yeah, if you can have like one of your parents, you have a chill grandpa, aunt, uncle, you know anyone like that. If you're able to get an account with them, uh, then I would definitely recommend it. You know, I'm really happy right now with how things have gone with this. So yeah, I think that's really all I gotta say. Like I said, my advice for any young people: try to get a job, try to not spend a lot of money. Um, and once you turn 18, get an account, invest, learn about compound interest. Compound interest is basically the reason that like investing, you make like a shit ton of money from it. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. hopefully you guys liked this. I don't know. I don't know if people are even gonna watch this, honestly. I'm like a pretty big like financial nerd. Obviously, I'm really into this. So, uh, yeah. I don't know. I find it interesting, but yeah. I guess see ya.